All right, I had to add this at the front of the video after I did everything because you're going to see I'm going to take off in the car. I'm going to tell you I'm going to the doctor's. I'm going to talk about a bunch of medical stuff on the way there, and um, maybe go to the little cafe in the hospital for breakfast. But then I do all that, and then I just decide I'm not done, and I just drove through all these back um, off the beaten path roads through Artesia and just did this grand tour of the part of Artesia where people actually live versus just those main drags I usually show. And it ends up being like an hour and a half. So I wanted to warn you about that because you'll get to, let me see, I'll look on the timeline, and I sort of finished the Artesia thing, the hospital thing at, let's see. Yeah, I finished that at about the 46-minute mark, and then it goes all the way to a minute and 28 because you see me hop back in there, and I go, I don't think I'm done. I need to keep talking, and I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I ended up at the very end going through quickly my favorite grocery store to buy two little things, but I took my this fancy little chest camera in with me, and so I wanted to let you know what you're in store for here. I didn't want you to be surprised and not know what to expect. Well, good morning, everybody. You got Travels with Dottie here on March the 23rd, 2026. And I'm on my way in for a doctor's appointment, a follow-up appointment from where the camera's moving a lot. I hope the shot's steady. The camera's doing that, doing a vibration thing. So let's see, get the cruise control set. We're gonna, even though it's 70, we're going 55 because we're nervous about rises in gas prices and taking a couple extra minutes to get some places. This is a good habit to get into anyway, now isn't it? I'd be saving money whether the gas prices were going up or not, right? Either way. So this is my follow-up appointment to one where I had a blood draw last in the fall, and I had kind of high cholesterol, not scary high, but high enough for concern. And the doctor, instead of putting me on a prescription medication, he had me put me on a couple of supplements, omega-3 fatty acid pills, I think fish oil it is, and red rice extract, something like that. And we got the blood drawn last Monday, and it was good. It was almost normal. There was one thing that was I forget all the LDLs, SDLs, blah blah blah, but it was one of the bad ones that needs to be low, and the normal was 100, and I'm at 114. So we'll see what he has to say about that. The other thing, I have to confess to my doctor about a stupid thing I did. Um, and I think I'm usually stupid. And I don't say that I say stupid versus ignorant because stupid is when you know better and you do it anyway. That's stupid, and I was stupid. So, like so many men my age, um, uh, there is a, how do I put this delicately? There's a, when you need to relieve yourself, it's not as easy as it used to be. And there is a medication called Flomax that, under the right conditions, alleviates that. So the right thing to do is to talk to your doctor about that. And he decides whether or not that's an appropriate medication for you to go on. But I did that. Oh no, I didn't do it. Hang on, you're tired of watching me. Hang on. There's the road. We're on our way into the hospital. Don't panic. The hospital is where my doctor is. It's where the clinic is. I'm not going to the ER or anything like that. Um, so I was in Mexico when I was in Quartzsite, and the pharmacies where you can get all kinds of medications and you don't need a prescription. So I said, well, I'll try it. I think there was like a 14-day supply of Flomax. So I took it. It worked. I mean, it wasn't a dramatic difference, but it was a noticeable difference. I was happy with that. So let's put that whole thing aside for a minute. And in order for you to understand the story, you need to forget that whole part of the whole story. And then understand I was dealing with a problem that developed. At the time, I didn't see that it was related. Every time I would stand up, I would get dizzy. A couple of times I was like, whoa, am I going to pass out? And I knew that was not a good thing. And I was making sure am I hydrated enough? What's going on? And the thing that rings in the back of my head is it's a cardiac problem. I've got a serious cardiac problem. And I really started to notice it last week. And, I didn't panic because I was like, I've got this doctor appointment today and I can tell him what's going on and he can order all the tests that he needs to figure out what's going on with my heart. Well, I'm going to extol the virtues of Chat GPT again, folks. So I started making inquiries there, and it would, when you ask a question, it often will come back with questions for you to clarify and to get a better answer. And we went back and forth, and actually, ChatGPT had me do an orthostatic, what they call an orthostatic blood pressure medication, where you take it sitting down, you wait 3 minutes, or you wait a minute, and you take it standing up, then you wait 3 minutes and do a second standing one. And he walked me through that. And he said, well, it's concerning that you don't quite meet the criteria for the orthostatic hypotension, but your heart rate goes way up, and that's concerning. And we ruled out things like hydration. And they said, this isn't an emergency room visit, but definitely make an appointment with your doctor and talk to him about what's going on as soon as possible. It's not clear what this is. So, like I said, I had this appointment scheduled. About half an hour later, I remembered the Flomax. And I'm like, I didn't tell ChatGPT. I told him about the blood pressure, HCTZ, I think is my blood pressure medication. It's a diuretic. And it knows about, ChatGPT knows about all the medications I'm on. Except I never told the tool about the Flomax. So I get back in that same conversation and said, I forgot to tell you this is what I did recently. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought it seems to pretty much coincide with the dizzy spells. And it came back immediately and said, that's exactly it. There's almost 100% chance that this is the problem because the Flomax dilates blood vessels. And if you take it with a blood pressure medication, you're inviting this problem directly. So stop taking, or actually it said, if you insist on taking it, don't take it in the morning, take it at night. Ask me when I was taking it. I said in the morning. I said, well, that's the worst time. If you take it at night, you're already laying down. It's not a problem. Just, be careful getting up in the middle of the night. But I decided to stop taking it altogether. And immediately the next day, the dizziness went away. So, the difference between ignorant and stupid. I knew that it was a bad idea to use my own judgment to go on a medication that requires a prescription. And why do medications require a prescription? For a pretty good reason, usually, right? So I wasn't ignorant. I had the information. I did it anyway. Therefore, I was stupid. Now, I would never use that label for any other human being other than myself. But that shoe fits. You know, since I've got Medicare, I'm 66 now, I've had Medicare for a year. I've had more doctor appointments and attention to health than I've had in probably the previous 2 decades. Even when I had good insurance when I was working, I didn't utilize it much. But I utilize it now. I'm hyper aware that um, something's going to kill me. It's just a question of what and when, right? And it's more imminent now at my age than it was, when I'm walking around oblivious at like 35 years old, thinking of, you know, growing old and dying is so far in the future that it's almost pointless to think about it. Now, just a little side note here, going 55 instead of 70 on this road, this is mostly the road I travel. I picked up it looks like I'm at 19 miles per gallon. And before I started doing this, it was 18.5. So I got another half a mile a gallon so far. I'll probably continue improving, but that's something, right? The thing that I like least about going to the doctor is having to weigh and look at my weight. It's never, sometimes it's good news. Hey, I've lost a couple of pounds, but it's, that almost never happens. I'm always a bit disappointed. And when I was much heavier, I dreaded it. I would rather continue to be sick. It, it was preferred that over having to go to the doctor and get on the scales. That's crazy. And it's not like when you're home. At home, you could do it. You can get on the scale, take off every single piece of clothing, except maybe your underwear, to reduce the weight, and then try it 3 or 4 times and pick the one, get on there 3 or 4 times, especially with those digital ones. They don't say the same weight every time. Pick the lowest one, right? At the doctor's office, you know, they'll let you take all the stuff out of your pockets and your shoes off if you want, but you feel kind of silly doing that. So you don't do it. And you're thinking, like, I've got my phone, my keys, my camera, and all stuff, my wallet, shoes. What is that? That's got to be what, 20, 30 pounds? Don't worry, I don't really think that. But it's a vulnerable thing. It's not only are you weighing yourself without the ability to minimize it, it's in front of another human being. There's not, and it's like, you think that person's judging, they're not judging you. I don't care, they do it all day long, but it feels embarrassing. I wonder how many people that are overweight avoid the doctor's office for that reason. Doesn't it seem silly? But I think it's real. I think they should develop something where there's a secret pad when you walk into the waiting room that weighs you and secretly records your weight. And the only way to know it is to ask what it is. So you can pretend. I think what I might do, I purposely didn't have any coffee or food today. The food, well, the coffee was intentional because they call it white coat syndrome, where when they take my blood pressure, it's artificially high in the doctor's office because I have some psychological issue that raises my blood pressure when they're measuring it. And usually with a new doctor, I have to come in, show him my blood pressure cuff, and then show him the Bluetooth recording of all the measurements to convince him that what you're seeing isn't really the truth for me. But I've already done that with this guy. He'll understand. He won't care. We almost didn't see that speed limit sign. We got to get the speed down, Robert. I'm supposed to be there right now. They always say come 15 minutes early, but it really doesn't take 15 minutes to check in. But it's Monday. It'll be a crowded lobby, I bet. Looks like they just fixed this road recently. Pretty smooth. Pretty darn smooth, except for that big bump. It's a good locksmith there. I've used them. A friend of mine has used. I used to copy a key, but my friend used them to change the lock. ALK locksmith right here on the right. I hear a far off siren. Scanning to look if it's coming up behind me or what. Pecos Diamond Steakhouse. You see that on the right? Well, it doesn't exist anymore. It's been closed. And people that I know here that have been, in town for a long time say it was a great steakhouse. Affordable, really good steak. Kind of a bummer that it's gone. You might see off on the right there in that corner in front of that Shell station a big statue with a guy on horseback. There are these beautiful statues like that all over town here. I did a video where I stopped and looked at every one of them and talked about their significance. There are a few along here, and if I pass a couple, I'll mention them. But this is oh yeah, there's one right here on the left. It's a school teacher, obviously a real person that they're honoring, a local school teacher from like 100 years ago. I just released a video today on Social Security, and I've done a few of those. But lately, every year, um, there are people that do Social Security videos, and they use clickbait to sort of scare you into watching it, like major changes to the earnings limit on Social Security you need to know, or it'll be a disaster. Well, the earnings limit changes every year by a little bit, goes up a little bit every year, and that's what they're talking about. But they scare you into watching the video because you think something's going to happen that's huge. You're going to be in big trouble, and blah, 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 blah. So I did the anti clickbait Social Security video talking about the earnings limit and other thing is they try to lead you to believe if you earn over the earnings limit and they take it back, you've lost that money. And it's like, it's only, it's not really true. Now, there's an element of truth to it because they take the money back. They'll it's something like for every $2 that you go over, they take back $1, but they don't keep it. When you reach full retirement age, they use it to bump up your benefit amount once you reach full retirement age. Now, so if they grab back $2,000 from you, say, do they give you $2,000 back that first month? No, they spread it over time. So you'll get it back, but it'll be over a long time. And if you don't live that long, you're not going to get it all back. But it's not like it's a penalty and they take the money from you and don't give it back. They give it back, but sort of in from their standpoint, a balanced and fair way. But there's plenty of people out there that want you to think that, you lose that money or it's a penalty. It's not. It's not. And the other thing that, of course, they don't mention right away is that only it's not total income they look at for the earnings limit. It's actually earnings, W-2, um, uh, uh, income from working, not pensions, not investments. Even the IRS says in the literature, you could have $1 million in investment income, and it doesn't count against your earnings limit. It's not in the actual code, but it's like in one of their opinion letters it says that, and that's pretty straightforward, right? Ooh, the parking lot looks pretty full, and I'm right. I'm a minute early, which means I'm going to be a minute late, even if I find a nice little parking space, and I see a nice one in there. I see a nice parking space. And I have to go in through the emergency entrance because the regular entrance for the clinic is being remodeled. And I saw a space down here on the left. Right here. I'm going to need to make some adjustments to get through this space properly. Whoops. I made it. One more adjustment. One more little adjustment. There we are. Okay, I will see you. Well, hang on. I will see you at when my appointment's over, and I'll report everything, and we'll go over to the. We're gonna have breakfast at the restaurant here in the hospital. Really cool place. All right, I am done. Clean bill of health. He was actually very enthusiastic about my cholesterol results, and is very happy that. Hang on a second. Let me back out of here. Very happy that I don't need to be on any other medications. Um, that one value that I was a little worried about. He said, "We'll keep an eye on it, but it's a huge improvement. It's all good news." He was enthusiastic. That's good. I did want to give him. I told him the story about the Flomax, and he's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen." And we decided that's not a medication that I need to be on. We talked about my symptoms, and it just wasn't a big deal at all. So I'm not going to be on that medication anymore. But because I was thinking so much of the cardiac stuff, I, said, I want to make sure that you're completely aware of all my risk factors. And if you don't tell your doctor all your risk factors, don't assume he's reading, that long thing that you fill out when you go to the doctor's office. That I don't think that always gets read or put into the system or what. But I said, look, know this, that I was a heavy smoker. Started smoking when I was 12 until I was 34 or 35. And I drank heavily in my 20s all the way up to about 34. And my dad, who was like in really good shape but smoked, had a heart attack in like a double or triple bypass when he was only about 10 years older than me. And then I showed him, I had an EKG done when I had my hip replacement done. Oh, you know what I did? I went the wrong way, folks. Hang on, let me turn this around so maybe you can see where I'm going and tell me how I'm screwing up here. I just wanted to go to the cafe in the hospital. I drove away from it. Okay, we're going to turn around. We're going to go back. I'll show you where the cafe is, and we'll go in there. I'm going to bring you in there with me with my little camera that sits on my chest so people don't feel self-conscious. So I wanted to make sure that he was aware of all those things. And I had the copy on my phone of the EKG they did to clear me for surgery a year ago when I had my hip replacement. And he took a look at that and he said, you know what? When you come back, he's having me come back in 6 months. And when I come back, we're going to do an EKG. And he said, we're going to do an EKG. We'll do another blood test. We'll see your cholesterol is. We'll have an actual cardiologist examine your EKG just to make sure we're not missing anything and we're dotting all our I's and crossing all our T's. And, and I asked him, is there anything else that can be done preventative wise, looking at things? Because I don't want to die in, going to bed at night and not waking up because I had a heart attack in my sleep because I wasn't paying attention to something. And he said, we're covering everything here. You're in good shape. You're doing the right things. And I think I'll park on the other row. I should have pointed out the cafe's right over there, but you'll see it when I walk in. So I think it's really important that as we get to be this age, that unless we've had a doctor that has known us for a long time and is very familiar with our history, and even then, it doesn't hurt to remind them. And some things we don't think about as medical history, like, we don't think that, well, who cares whether my dad had a heart attack when he was 77 or that I smoked decades ago, or I drank a lot of alcohol decades ago. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying those things are huge markers, but at least my doctor knows those things. And if they are markers, it was enough for him to say, okay, let's go a little bit further here. All right. Well, I'm going to switch to the other camera. Well, I think that's looking pretty good. All right. Not only do I love the food here, but it's so inexpensive. You're going to just be blown away when you see what I order and what I pay when I go to the register. It's called the Green Chili Cafe at Artesia General Hospital. Doesn't look like the menus are working. Doesn't look like the menus are working.
Do they stop? We're in between.
It looks like a couple of them are just logged off. Do you have a paper one?
I have no idea. It always is. What are you wanting?
Breakfast?
We're closed from this week. I
Huh?
can make you something real quick for breakfast, but we shut down at 10:15.
How about just throw together a quick omelet for me?
Well, how about you tell me what you want?
Well,
I'll make it.
I'll take some of that sausage, ham, cheese,
Sausage, ham,
and mushrooms.
Okay,
Mushrooms.
I also have tomatoes, and I have spinach, and I have chorizo.
Spinach and tomatoes.
Okay, so we got tomatoes and spinach, sausage, and mushroom,
Yeah.
and what else?
And cheese.
Extras. Okay.
The American shredded cheese there. All right. Well, it's nice.
Any
It's
toast to go in it?
yeah, just regular bread, whatever you have handy.
I have wheat.
It's good.
That'll be all right.
That's good for me.
One or two pieces, huh?
2 pieces. So it was real nice of you to do this.
Oh,
Thank you.
I got no problem. It's right here. It would be crazy for me to turn you away.
So we did miss by 4 minutes the end of breakfast at 10:15, but of course we got somebody wonderful that is taking care of us. We'll see what else we have here. They're usually your breakfast items here on the right, but they've all been taken up. But there'd be hot breakfast stuff right here, and then you have some desserts. Should I get this right after my doctor appointment? And beverages, including coffee and everything, is included in the price of your breakfast.
Well, I was going to tell you, yesterday I forgot about the oil.
Yeah.
Alguien que se tuve to make sure that we compete or he is not saying that otherwise. Those three of them, those three of them. He did to those three states got to. And when I went out there, I thought he probably was. I know,
I just went back there to have the club. So I had how they built it.
Thank you so much.
$4.25.
I wish they'd let you guys have a little tip jar or something here. I will. I will. Yeah. All right. So, $4.25. Look at the size of this omelet. Plus, we get coffee. So we can get, how about some strong coffee? And some coffee mate. Okay. And sugar. Stir that up. And we missed, I know where the forks are. I know where they are. We passed them as we walked in. This dispenser right here. We have knives, forks. So I'm using right now, the camera that you're seeing is the DJI Osmo Nano. And I'm about to switch back over to the Osmo Pocket 3. See that right there? I'm going to turn this one on, and this one I turn off, and this one I turn off. I'm trying to get the other part of my pocket. This, of course, here, there's a necklace I have with a metal plate that this just magnetically goes on, and no matter where, it just records everything. And it has a detachable monitor, so it shows me what's on there, or I can put them together. They snap together. Pretty cool, huh? So we're gonna try to turn that off. And I want to tell you how this thing is huge. There's no way I'm going to be able to eat this whole thing. Look at that. Look at that. Yes. Yes. It's as good as it looks. And I'll be taking this home. I'll have another whole nother meal out of it and maybe share with Dottie. It is so good. And here I am again. Here we are. So I know today's pretty heavy on health, only because, well, it's a doctor day. But health is really important. When I was talking about dying in my sleep from a heart attack, I think of the YouTuber that I admired so much. Thank you. I admired so much Adam the Woo, who did the fact that I do a daily video is because that's what Adam did for years and years and years, and I would watch him every single day, and he taught me a lot about I didn't know him personally, but by watching his videos, it taught me a lot. And he was quite a bit younger than me. He was just barely 50, and he died in his sleep, totally unexpected. No idea. It was a shock. And I'm still reeling from it. And it was months ago now that he passed away. One of the interesting things that I noted about him is he did a lot of, he was a big Disney fan, and I'm going to eat my omelet while we're talking. Elsewise, it'll get cold. He did a lot of traveling, so he did videos with a lot of sites and things. They were interesting, but those weren't my favorite ones. My favorite videos from him is, I think he called them walk and talks, where he would just take his camera at home and he'd walk out there was a little man-made lake with a trail around it, and he'd sit on a bench and he would just talk about what was on his mind. And you know what? I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to hear him talk about what mattered to him. And I think it was because he was so real and genuine and vulnerable on camera that you couldn't just help but love the guy, And I think about, he was a daily presence in my life through his videos, and it leaves such a hole in my heart that he's not there anymore. It's tough stuff. Coffee's okay. Coffee's pretty good. Anyway, you get to be our age, you think about these things more. You come to terms with the fact that, hey, most of my life is over here. There's just there's a little bit left, and it does a couple of things. One, it makes this time way more valuable than it ever has been. Time becomes the currency of my life at this stage. It is more valuable than money, more valuable than anything is time. And how I choose to spend that time is a pretty important thing for me. And it's redoubled my desire to do these videos because there's a big difference between sitting here eating an omelet and thinking about these things, life passages and life and death and doctor's appointments and stuff. It's a whole different dimension to share it with you. And and whether you're watching because you just want to hear somebody like me talk, or you get information from it and it motivates you, hey, maybe I should tell my doctor a little bit more about my past and not assume that they know. And that may change their treatment, what they do or what they look at. It certainly did for me today. I wasn't going to get an EKG for anything, right? Until I disclosed everything that I could think of that I thought might possibly be pertinent to my health and what's going on with me. And so he said, well, we're going to do another EKG, and we're not going to just look at it, the interpretation on that prints out there. We're going to give it to a cardiologist and have him evaluate it and make a decision about if there are next steps. What are they going to be? So it's an investment in the most valuable thing right now, and that's time. It's an investment in time. I know I'm going to die. I get it. We're all going to die. I just don't want it to be an inconvenience for me. You know what I'm saying. I don't want it to be before it has to be, especially now that I'm enjoying life so much more fully, and I'm so much more present in the day-to-day aspects of my life, that it would be such a shame to have to go on to the next thing so quickly. Even though I know what the next thing is? Well, yes, I do. I know exactly what it is. Of course I don't. I don't have a clue. I have good reason to believe that there is a next after this. And no, it has nothing to do with religion. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with religion or spirituality. I just had a thing unfold in my life that convinced me that I don't know what it is, but the end that we think of as the end, it's not the end. There's something else coming. And I don't know whether that something else lasts for 5 minutes and then it's on to nothingness. I have no idea. I just know there's at least one more step. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and good health to you and your loved ones. I hope you have a great doctor, and I hope you get great advice and great treatment. Take care. Well, I thought I was done with the video in the Green Chili Cafe. And I even did a closing and said, see you tomorrow. I'll have to cut that out because I got to the car pulling out of here and I'm like, I don't think I'm done. I'm not done talking. All right. So what am I going to talk about? I wish I knew. I just had this urge to keep talking. So one of the things I want to do here is I want to wander around town a little bit. So let's give you the proper view here. And one of the things I noticed on my little GPS map, usually I make a left to go home, but if I make a right here, I see some green space on like a park or something down here, green space on the GPS. So what is this all about? What is all this green space? It looks like a big old park to me or something. What is it? Recreation complex. I've never noticed this before. The Artesia Recreation Complex. What all is down here? I see a skate park on the right. I see a lot of picnic benches. This is a big old park here, folks. It's a weekday. There's not many people out here, but temperature's nice. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. It's for 70 degrees. It's like there's a stage there for small performances, maybe. Lots of parking. I'm going to guess they probably have all sorts of events out here. That's my best guess. Sure is a lot of real estate. What's over here? There's something else over here. What's this? Artesia Bulldogs. That's the sports team from the high school. Mac Chase Athletic Complex. I bet you can't drive through there. I think this is for, yeah, this is for the high schoolers. This is for the high school. Probably not. Not so much for looky-loos like me. Oh yeah, there's an athletic field here and everything. Okay, Artesia folks, is this where they have the football games and everything? Let me know in the comments. Well, guess what we're gonna sneak through a back alley here behind these wonderful looking houses. Nice looking houses. Look, all these houses have these nice dumpsters in the alley. I'm gonna slowly head towards. I see another green patch, much smaller green patch, but it's a green patch. Whoa. Okay. It's a nice little green patch, but I need to make a left here to get to it. Looks like some kind of power substation on the left here for sure. And I see those trees ahead. That's going to be this green patch that I see on the GPS. Maybe a little park. Right here on the right. What all is this? Yeah, I see picnic tables and things, so it's got to be another little park. It is. It's not enormous, but it's a quaint little park with stuff for the kids, etc. I see another even smaller green patch, but a green patch is a green patch. I think it almost always means some sort of a park. Well, it says I should go up to Roselawn up here and make a right, and it'll be 3 or 4 blocks on the left. Is this Roselawn? It is. We get to see more residential areas. We don't get to see that much when I'm just driving back and forth and raving about downtown, but downtown's a little tiny slice of this, of Artesia. What we're seeing is where people live and raise families, eat dinner, kids playing in the street. Look at these. What are the? What's up with these things on the left? It looks like all duplexes or something. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, it's after this cross street. I'm seeing the trees. You see the trees? That means there's a park up here. Another little one, but it's another park. Right across from Rose Lawn Elementary School. And there we have another park. Check it out. Now they're serious about the lawn care in this park. They got those sprinklers going. This road here, I think, kind of goes right through the middle of it. No climbing. There's a sign that says no climbing or vandalism of trees. Okay. Oh, this is a parking lot we just drove into. Or is it a road? Or is it both? I don't know. But it's in the middle of the park. Look, there's like this sort of jet I guess kids can play in. That's kind of neat. There's something for rent there. For rent sign. Nice little apartment, maybe. A nice little four-way stop here. I think I'm going to take this side street that I'm on all the way through Artesia as as far as I can go in this direction. It's not that big. I can see where it ends about 10 blocks away or so. But it'll show us what sort of the back streets look like. We are going to cross the main street here where the downtown is. But that'll be behind us soon enough. I like to spy, not spy, but see all the little businesses that may be on the side streets that you otherwise wouldn't know. There's Rooted Day Spa. Sinclair, HF Sinclair building right there. That's, I think those are the owners. Sinclair owns the refinery that's right to my left here. Big refinery. So real estate, Lois Oliver. And there's the First Baptist Church. It's a four-way stop, yeah. Zen Care Family Wellness Center. I think that's like a inexpensive clinic. I've seen lines of people out there before. Now we have some of the older homes, right? These big older homes here in this section. Check it out. You know, back there we had sort of the ranch style places, and these are a little bit bigger, big front porches, things like that. I will say it's pretty clear that it's pretty tough to keep nice green grass here in this part of the country. Oh, and this is, oh, we've been by here before, haven't we? Roselawn Manor. I think that is a senior housing facility. I think. Now we're back to sort of the older ranch style, the not older, but different ranch style building. Except that, well, look at this one on the right there. The big white columns. Do you see that? It's pretty unusual. And then there's one on the left here that looks pretty neat. There's a sort of a mixed bag here of all different kinds of houses. But in about 2 or 3 blocks, we're going to run out of town, and we're going to be, it's like not a gradual to the country. It's like in like 2 blocks here, it ends. I'm not sure what that is there. So I think there's not much beyond here going in this direction. So if we want to stay in town, we kind of have to make a right here on Hermosa. And see what other parts of Artesia we can find yourself in. This looks a little more commercial residential mix. What do we have up here? Setting a higher standard. Select milk producers. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. It's another school. Elementary school. Looks like spring break is over. it was the 16th through the 20th, and it's the 23rd. So the kids are back from spring break. Well, I'm going to have to record an intro to this video and warn people about, yeah, we go to the doctor, we get some breakfast, and then we could just go aimlessly driving around Artesia down sort of back and side streets to see what it's like. So I don't like it when people get misled by what they think the video is. So when I go way off topic or way off the original intent, I like to go back and record an introduction that basically describes where I go off the rails so people aren't blindsided by it. Now, I don't know how many people are really interested in this kind of stuff. I like driving through places I haven't been and going down the ordinary streets like this. It's almost more interesting than, the main streets with all the stuff on it. It's like you get to see how people actually live. And there's probably names for different sections of town here that I'm not familiar with. And people in the comments may tell us that. So that Artesia police car parked there. I'm betting he's not there on a call. I bet he or she, probably the officer, probably lives right there. It's sort of the vibe I'm getting. Could be wrong. So the big industry in town is, of course, the oil refinery, the oil fields that surround Artesia, and also the federal law enforcement education training facility. It's big, and they train a lot of federal law enforcement here. And I think my impression is that people come in and stay here for weeks at a time to get training. And we could keep going straight, but we run out of town in about a block there. So we're going to have to make a right here. Or not when it says road closed. Okay, well, let's see what's up here. I don't think we can get through anywhere up here. This is pretty interesting. What's up here, though? It looks like a housing development, a fancy one. Stonegate Estates. So, shall we just take a quick drive through here and see what Stonegate Estates looks like? This looks like the ritzy part of town. So, in the comments, tell me, what do these houses go for? What can I expect to pay here? There's a house for sale right on the corner there. Looks like a pretty nice development. They all kind of look the same. Do you notice a pattern in the colors? Well, this one looks under construction. Just barely finished. And to the right is a dead end. So here's the Catalyst Church out in the kind of middle of this big open space. It's interesting. I wonder why this is a pretty big road. South 26th Street is closed. I'm curious. Why is it closed? There's a lady with 2 kids in a stroller. How cute. Oh, it looks like some major construction going on. I see a backhoe in the middle of the street. Detour will follow the arrows for the detour. I don't see another arrow though. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for a detour sign. I think I see something way up there. Yep, it's a detour sign. It's pretty far out of the way, but maybe it's the only street that goes all the way through this part of town. Because this is all familiar because we just on this street going the other way. And this will bring us all the way back to Main Street and means we've done a pretty big circle. There are people watching the same. Rob, at the beginning of the video, you were talking about, driving 55 to save gas, and here you are driving aimlessly and burning gas. And I would say that's a fair criticism. Fair. Any savings that you had going 55 instead of 70, were wiped out tenfold by wandering around driving aimlessly, making kind of a silly video. What's this here? Sunset Villa. Oh, another kind of interesting looking development. That looks like a firehouse on the left, but not anymore. I bet it's an old firehouse. And I think we're coming up to Main Street. I just had to give you one more look at this omelet. Isn't that great looking? 4.25, including tax. Oh, you know what's on the left here? I'm going to have to go in because I've been looking for some healthy snacks and they were not available in Albertsons. And I'm just going to just jump right in here real quick and see if I can get a little bit more healthy snack stuff going here at Fenn's Market. This is definitely my favorite place. So we're going to go into Fenn's Market real quick. That guy was in a little bit of a hurry, huh? Could be on a break from work and needs to run and get something real quick. All right, I'm going to shut this camera off and then turn the other one on. We'll be right back. All right, here we are connected to the other camera. We're going to go in and see if they have any. And it's like, I wonder what he means by healthy snacks. And it could be when you see me pick something up and go, this is it. It may be that you're going to say, well, that maybe looks healthy, but it really isn't. And that's okay.
Oh, on the other side? Yeah. Someone over here.
What other parts do you want? And I'll take let's do steak fingers. Let's do
Miller's one like this.
probably that one. How much
These are all baked goods. It's maybe a fool's errand. This stuff is close, but not exactly what I had in mind. Let's see what they have though. Granola bites. That's kind of what I have in mind. They only have one of these. What else? These crispy, creamy wafers. What I'm looking at is being on guard for high sugars. 9 grams of sugars. That's a lot. This is only 6, I think. This was 6 grams. Sugar's 12. How about Kodiak? 8. This is a little better. How about maybe the $11? Ugh. 11 grams. 11 grams. This is worth it. Outside shot. 11. All right. Not exactly what I was looking for, but this is something. I'm not leaving empty-handed. Nah.
Know that octopus? Or know that one that just has street and thing that goes out?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that one jacked you up, man. But I like the roller coaster.
Oh, I love roller coasters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's more snacks over here.
And 116, please. Around 116.
It's just a treat. And there's only one left, so I'm not getting. There's only 2. How bad are the sugars on this? 19 grams. Okay, this is horrible, but it's a dessert treat, not a snack. Does anybody buy what I just said? Let me know in the comments. Tempting. Not gonna do it.
Wish to continue. Welcome. Please scan your first item.
that is mine. They love and you can see where they dress it, said yet further.
Select payment
Oh,
type.
I swear there's no name where it was bigger than a gun.
Use PIN pad to complete transaction.
All right, we're good. We're good to go. So let me tell you what I had in mind, and I don't know where I saw it. It could have been Walmart. These snacks that are like cubes of granola is the best way I can describe it. It's like eating little cubes of granola cereal. And wasn't here, wasn't at Albertsons. It's got to be Walmart, but I guess the next time I'm in Walmart, I'll pick some up. All right, so we go back into the car. What did I just do? I did buy two things, but I just lost one. The struggles I go through. All right, so this one, we can stop. All these pieces of electronic I have. I got my phone, my pocket, put that up there. There's half of this thing. Turn that off. Snap it together. All right. One thing I got to remember to do when I get home is go to the dumpster and dump. I got a bunch of stuff in the back that needs to be dumped. All right. This time, I'm pretty sure that I mean it. That I'm signing off on this video. It's going to be a long video, but you know what? My friend Russ with RV or TV, he has a very successful RV channel. It's going to be close to being, he's in the top 10, I think, for sure, if not the top 5. And he defies all the advice that 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 noise there was my side view mirror, plastic side view mirror kissing the plastic plastic side view mirror of another truck. It's just plastic touching plastic, nothing, no big deal. I think I'm going to pull over here for a second, finish this, and then finish this little discussion. All right. So he defies the don't do long videos, don't do videos that are too short, do this, do that. All the instructions that there's a plethora of videos out there telling you how to do it. And it always begs the question, if they're spending all this time doing videos on how to do it, why aren't they just doing it and making money that way? I'm not sure. And I was talking to him. I ran into him in courtside at the Big Ten show. And he said, you know what? The longer, the better. And I look at his channel, and most of his videos lately are over an hour. And, you know, I've had them over an hour, and I've been cutting back a little bit. Just, it's just coming to the YouTube advice out there. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that anymore. If I have an hour's worth of stuff, I'm just going to put it out there. And that's what Russ is doing. I think he knows what he's talking about. He's got the stats and the income to prove it. And I've always had the feeling that you're going to get people that are going to have upset comments. Your video's too long. I'm not watching these videos. And it's a pretty small proportion of people, because I do notice my long over hour videos do very well, even though they get some negative comments. But anyway, so this one's probably going to be over an hour. We'll see how it does. We'll just keep an eye on things. Okay. So I'm going to head home, and I will see you when? Tomorrow.